I just finished another RD cycle with my students, and we submitted applications to Stanford, Yale, Princeton, Harvard, the whole list. And I noticed 5 patterns that separated the strong applications from the weak ones. These aren't the polished tips you see on Instagram. These are the raw patterns I saw across dozens of applications. If you're applying next year, you need to hear these now. Not in December when you're staring at 17 supplement prompts. I'm Muti, I got into NYU and I help students get into top schools using the Ivy narrative method. So hit subscribe because every week I break down real strategies from actual students. Let's get into it. Lesson number 1. One-dimensional activity lists create impossible supplement situations. If you're a sophomore watching this, stop stressing about defining your niche right now. I know every admissions consultant is telling you to specialize, to find your spike, to become the computer science person or the debate person. But here's what actually happened this cycle. I had a student, brilliant programmer, built 3 legitimate apps, contributed to open source. Everything on his activities list was coding adjacent. Then he sat down to write Stanford's 8 supplements, Yale's 7, and Princeton's 6. Community impact, coding workshop, intellectual vitality, debugging algorithms. What matters to you? Clean code architecture. By the 4th essay, he became one-dimensional on paper. Not because he wasn't impressive, because he literally didn't have different experiences to write about. Yale asks about a difficult conversation you had. Princeton asks what you do for fun, and Stanford wants to know about your intellectual curiosity. If every answer circles back to the same activity, you have a problem. So sophomores and juniors, spend this year exploring. Join one club outside your comfort zone. Have conversations that challenge you and try something you might fail at. Not for your resume, because you need material to write about. You can't fill 15 to 20 essay responses with variations of the same story. The math just doesn't work. Lesson number 2. Stop writing like you're answering interview questions. So many students this cycle wrote perfectly structured, clearly organized, and directly responsive supplements. But they were extremely boring. They'd see, tell us about a community you belong to, and write an intro paragraph for establishing the community, 3 body paragraphs about their role and impact, and a conclusion tying it to their future goals. It hit every point, it answered the question, but it sounded like everyone else's essay. Your writing should demonstrate your personality, your voice, your way of seeing the world. Admissions officers read thousands of these. The strongest applications I worked on this year had essays that made me laugh or think or just feel something. One student wrote about her debate team like a dysfunctional family sitcom. Inside jokes, petty drama, the teammate who always forgot his cue cards. It was chaotic but completely alive. Another student answered what matters to you with a stream of consciousness reflection on the specific smell of her grandmother's kitchen. Was it perfect structure? No. But did it reveal something real? Yes. So stop writing like you're in a job interview and write like you're texting your smart friend at midnight about something you care about. If I can't hear your voice in the essay, neither can the admissions officer. Lesson number 3. You need to recycle essays. If you're applying to more than 12 schools in regular decision and you're not recycling, you'll either burn out or submit mediocre essays to half your schools. I watched students try to write every supplement from scratch this cycle. They ran out of time and energy by mid-December. The strongest applicants were shameless recyclers. Yale's difficult conversation essay is the same as NYU's and Duke's. Stanford's What Matters to You and Duke's Why Duke can share the same opening anecdote. You just steer the essay in different directions after the first paragraph. One student wrote a killer opening about finding her grandmother's letters. She used that opening for Stanford's What Matters essay, Princeton's Your Voice essay, and Columbia's Why This Book short answer. Same story, 3 completely different essays. So here's the strategy. Write your best material once, then map it across prompts. Create a document with your 5 strongest stories, look at every prompt on your list, and ask which of these 5 could work here. The first paragraph can be identical. The middle shifts based on what the prompt emphasizes, and the conclusion tailors to the specific school. You have a limited number of genuinely good ideas, a limited number of experiences that really shaped you, and you have limited time. Trying to come up with completely original material for every prompt means you'll dilute your best stuff. You'll save your strongest story for one school and write weaker material for everyone else. So use your best material multiple times and make every school see the most compelling version of you. And look, if you want help mapping your strongest stories across 15 to 20 supplements without burning out, that's exactly what we do in the Ivy narrative method. Book a call with the link below. Lesson number 4. Listing programs without personal connection makes you forgettable. Everyone tells you to be specific in why school essays. Mention courses, professors, programs. So students find Professor Johnson's advanced microeconomics class in the course catalog. They mention the entrepreneurship program and the design workshop, and their essay becomes more generic than if they had said nothing. Specific details without personal connection are just sophisticated name dropping. I'm excited to take Professor Johnson's Advanced Microeconomics because it combines my interest in policy and mathematics. Doesn't say anything meaningful. It just proves you can read a course catalog. I had 2 students apply to Penn this year. Same major, similar interest, but student A wrote about 6 specific programs, 3 professors, and 2 research labs. Every detail was accurate, and every connection was logical. Whereas student B wrote about one weird philosophy course she found, something about the ethics of food, and spent the entire essay exploring why that question fascinated her and connected to her grandmother's stories about rationing during partition. One deeply personal connection beats 10 surface level specifics. So don't mention a professor unless you've engaged with their work and have something real to say about why it matters to you. And don't list programs unless you can explain what you'd actually do in them that reveals something about who you are. There's a clear difference between research and genuine excitement, and it shows in the writing. Lesson number 5. Supplements deserve more attention than your Common App. Students spent months perfecting their Common App essays this cycle. Beautiful, poetic, and profound. But then they dashed off supplements in a weekend. The quality gap was extremely obvious. Other students had Common App essays that were fine, good stories, clear writing, but nothing spectacular. But their supplements were electric. Those were the applications that felt alive. Admissions officers expect your Common App essay to be polished. You've had months to work on it. Every counselor in America has given you feedback. It's your audition piece. But supplements reveal who you are under pressure. When you have less time, less space, and less polish, what do you choose to say? And how do you think? And what comes out? I had a student this year with a lovely Common App essay. A meditation on language and identity we refined over 3 months. But her Stanford supplements were weird. One about her obsession with poorly translated instruction manuals, and another about inventing a rating system for how long different foods last in her backpack. Were they perfect? No. But were they undeniably, unmistakably her? Yes. Your supplements are the only place where colleges see you responding directly to them. The Common App goes everywhere. But that why Stanford essay, that's your Stanford specific pitch. Treat them with the attention they deserve. And if you want help writing supplements that actually sound like you and not like every other applicant, that's what we specialize in. Book a call, there's a link below. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to sound like yourself. The interesting, complicated, specific person you actually are. The strongest applications I saw this year didn't have perfect essays. They had honest ones. That's it for this video. Make sure you hit subscribe because next week I'm breaking down real supplements from accepted students so you can see exactly what this looks like in practice. Let's get to work.